You know what I just noticed?
What'd you notice?
There's a volume mixer in 23H2 slash fall update for Windows 11, and there are two entries for the new teams in there, and that might be why
Mm-hmm.
when you call me, I tell them this from time to time. The ring sound for the call comes through the little speaker in the computer, but then when we talk, it comes through my headphones as it should. And there's no setting in Teams for this, but there are in fact two Teams entries in the volume mixer, and I bet one of them is that little speaker guy. It was so weird. Yeah,
Ending
actually,
Friday on a high note or
I
something.
go into Volume Mixer in Settings, the app. There are three entries for Teams, work, or school. I don't know what's going on.
Still kills me that they have to call it work or school because.
They really screwed up the naming on this
Do you
stuff.
think?
I really do. And they got it right on mobile, right? Just have one app, switch profiles. Just common sense. Too easy, too obvious.
Yeah.
And you also completely re-architected the app and didn't make that change? Really? No, I mean, think about it. Like you started off, this was going to be a commercial product. Fine, no problem. But now you're like, we're going to give it to consumers too, and you did it on mobile and didn't do it here. Dun dun dun, ladies and gentlemen, Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That really is a Microsoft
Is this
classic
like a
experience.
blood-brain barrier or something we can't cross? Like it's like why can't they figure this out?
Like somebody surely had to have, I don't know, during that 3-year process, like
Yeah,
spoke up
thought
and said,
about it.
"This is terrible."
This is, I'm sure someone said we can't do it, and here's why. Like, I'm sure there is an internal reason, and us peons on the outside don't need to know what that is because it would blow our minds anyway. But
Yeah, yeah.
unbelievable.
Well, it
Two
doesn't matter, Paul,
teams.
because according to the headlines, Windows 12 is going to be a subscription, which
Oh,
is
really? Yeah, sure it is.
yeah.
Sure it is.
You know what? Here's my guess. Here's my guess.
Mm-hmm.
Purely based on a single text string ripped out of a
Mm-hmm.
canary bill,
Okay.
is I
I have a guess too, but go on.
I
Yeah.
bet it's tied to a personal Microsoft 365 account.
Windows
And
365 account.
if you log in with
Oh,
one that you are actively paying for Microsoft 365,
you
that
get
it
other
just
stuff because
downloads
of your
and
subscription. Oh, that's actually okay.
integrates all your stuff. If you don't have one,
My guess was Windows 365 because there's a
yeah,
rumored consumer version coming, which
yeah.
please explain to me why any human being would want that as an individual, right? And I know, God, I just said that out loud, and people in the back are like, "Oh, excuse me, I would want that." And okay, fair enough. I'm sorry, but I mean, just generally speaking, right?
You know what? Here's another great question too. How many
Mm-hmm.
average consumers have more than one PC?
Right. Yeah. I have to confront this for myself because right now, actually, we've moved a bunch of our computers over to this new place we're moving to, but I, at any time, have 12 to 15 PCs around, and they're not always up and running. I mean, I'm not, running a lab here, but I will open them all from on different schedules and update them and blah, 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 whatever. And of course, I do stuff for the book and whatever I do. But yeah, some of the problems I have might not be an issue for a lot of people, and it's obvious, but I was just thinking about this the other day because of my OneDrive stuff. Maybe this isn't a big deal for most people. But then again, our audience, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's
More.
definitely people. I mean, I use 3 of them on a daily basis. This one, the one that
Yeah.
this machine is recording on, and then my primary device, and then actually I've got another. But I am an oddity by
Hmm.
all means. I bet
Yeah.
most people, it's like the KitchenAid mixer anymore, right? Like that's what you get at a wedding. You give somebody a computer. That's what they have one in the house.
No, it's fair. But then again, we are also the canaries, right? So
Yeah.
I went into my wife's office this morning. She was working on something early. She got up early, whatever. And I looked at her computer, and what flashed through my brain was, I need to look at her computer, right? Because she's just a normal person. She doesn't, when it comes to technology,
Hmm.
she doesn't care. And there's probably all kinds of bad behavior going on there that I'm just super hyper aware of, which, most people wouldn't think about. Um, and then there's the next level of this. Most people, when confronted by these things, most of the time might say, I don't care, you know? So you got to kind of think through this stuff. But we all provide this service for our friends and families, don't we? I mean, you manage your family's devices, I'm sure, to some degree.
Hmm.
And the way you do that is based on your experiences, right? So, I
Yeah.
mean, having multiple computers in your case, I mean, certain societies would put you in a zoo, but I mean, you should be celebrated in
I
your
mean, even
family
this society probably should.
for your tech support acumen.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah. I don't know. Conveniently, as predicted, Microsoft is rumored to be closing their Activision Blizzard deal next Friday, which is when I
Right.
will be. And
And me too. I'm flying to Mexico on that day.
Harry,
Fantastic.
so it's called. We're going to Harry Potter World, but just to annoy my kid, I keep calling it Harry Houdini's because
I,
that's
nice, nice.
you got like that's
I
what
would.
gets me out of bed in the morning. Just hearing
This
her
is exactly how
groan.
I parented. I would refer my daughter's favorite band was One Direction, which I
Mm-hmm.
always referred to as One Dimension.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Was
I
just center,
fully approve.
screeching up the chalkboard there.
Yeah, no, I'm lining all these dad jokes up for when we're down there, just to see my kid's eye roll and just let her know that I'm still in charge.
Harry Potter. See my joke about Harry Potter, because my kids did read those books, right,
Mm-hmm.
to some degree. Not as effectively as your daughter, by the way. I'm pretty sure. But I would say, they'd ask me a question. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't read that book. I read the original version when it was called The Chronicles of Narnia, which they don't even get, right? They don't.
Yeah.
This is just a joke for me. But that's okay as long as someone laughs, Brad, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a good father-son moment for you, or father-child moment. In my case, it was my son. We drove 2 cars to Washington D.C. in August, because one of them was my daughter's new to her car that we had purchased because her car was wrecked. She flew there, and then she was going to drive it home. So my wife is in our car, and Mark and I are in Kelly's car, my daughter's car. And it was a long drive. It's usually best conditions should be 3.5 hours. It was getting close. It was 5-ish hours. It was, I don't know why, a lot of whatever. And as we're getting close to DC, I realized we're going to go to the airport to pick up my daughter, because we're late. Like originally we were going to park, go to the place, take the train over there, come back with her, but we're late, and we're on time to pick her up, but it's late. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, I all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute. It doesn't make sense for us to take 2 cars to the airport. One of us should go to the place, and the other one should go to the airport and get Kelly and then come to the place. And I didn't think it through, but the place is much closer than the airport. It's on the opposite side of the city, right? So I called my wife and I said, hey, I told her the plan, and she's like, yeah, that totally makes sense. And I'm like, look, I got Mark in this car. You should just go grab Kelly. And honestly, I think in my brain, I was thinking actually she would have the shorter drive. And she's like, okay. And she's like, what does that make a difference for drive time? And I'm like, well, for you, it's the same, because that's where we've been going. So it was like an hour away. And I'm like, let me look it up. And I looked at the thing on the map, and it said, you'll be there in 11 minutes. And my face literally went like this. And my son lost it, because he instantly understood like I had just screwed over my wife in some horrible way, and was trying not to let her know that had happened. But he was like, he wouldn't. I was like, dude, shut up. Like, what are you doing? You're killing me. But you can have those moments too,
Yeah. Kids, they keep you insane. Not sane, for sure.
No, they're the highest highs and the lowest lows.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate.
Yep, the gift that keeps on giving. And the good news, Brad, is that girl will grow up and become a woman, maybe get married and have kids or whatever she does in life, and it will never change for you. Like it never gets better. So look forward to that. Happy life.
This is it.
And have a good weekend.